Hello?
All right, so we're officially recording, and I see Ralph coming in. So good to see all of you here. Looks like there's a few of you at the moment. Hopefully more of you will join in. So today you should have been working on your Create One projects and working with your pairs and working on the write-up, and there was lots of email back and forth with lots of questions going on. When in doubt, always check the pacing guide and then email for clarification after that. The Create One page, if you haven't looked at it in the last 3 hours or so, you might want to do that. I did add some updates, very minor things, but to reflect what we had talked about in the emails. So it's really just trying to get our documents that we have up there more aligned with the College Board documents. That's our goal. We want to that. We want you to get experience with the College Board requirements, and it's just us figuring out the best way to get our materials to better align with those. I've been seeing some of you send your write-ups to me. That is fine. You should also at some point make sure that they are on your portfolio site as well. And then today what we want to do is have you talk about any questions you might have about your programming that you're doing right now.
So can you say again where you put what you updated in the last 3 hours?
The Create One task to have the video.
It's on the, you linked it into the pacing guide?
Create One was already linked into the pacing guide.
I see, it was on Tuesday.
And I was updating because they've been referring to that, what to do for their assignment. And I was updating that, what everybody would see, not just you guys, the entire world that sees our site, right? I was updating that to reflect what we had been talking about in the emails. So one of the things I changed was that number 6 requirement about the video instead of 2 to 3 minutes, which was the original thing that we had, the original requirement with all of your project in there. Now it's just reflecting just the 1 minute video, which is what we wanted you to do, what the College Board has requested.
That was the main change.
Yeah.
All right.
So does anybody want to go any major programming questions you want to ask now?
I do. Give me 1 sec here, guys. So I'm not on, never mind. I can't even share my screen with you because I'm on my Chromebook. Forget it.
Can you just describe it?
Sure. So
National Public Radio.
Right. National Public Radio. So basically what it is we have a list of you in ours was the homework tracker, and the suggestion from you, which was something that we had talked about, was to create a button or a checkbox that if you check it, it will delete the item from the list. And we got the notifier to work, which is awesome. But the problem that we're having is that when another item is added to the list view, and the buttons don't populate and join. So it'll have a button, or it'll have the assignment and then the checkbox or delete button, and then the next item, and then so on and so forth. And I don't know how to code the two together. So that when one item is populated under the list, directly next to it, a new box or delete or checkbox appears. It only allows, without creating multiple checkboxes, but I don't know how many. If someone has 100 items in that list, I'd have to have 100 checkboxes. So there's no way to cascade them down, if that makes sense.
You can't. Whatever components you're using, they have to be set in the designer. So you have to say, this is how many is going to be there. You can't say, okay, when the user says add another checkbox, tell the designer go and grab a new checkbox and add it. It has to already be added in your design.
Right. So I have a horizontal arrangement of a list view, and then directly next to that, the delete button
What about this? Would this work? So you have your list view and you're populating that from a list, right? You have a list variable in your program?
Correct. We're storing that from a text box input.
No, I mean a global variable. Say I've got words 1, 2, 3 in a list, a global variable list in my program.
Okay.
I can populate my list view from that list now, right?
Correct.
So when I select one of those, I can code the event handler for that action such that I'm given the option in the response with the pop-up or the notifier. Do I want to delete this item? Is that how you're using the notifier?
Yeah. So when you click the box or the delete button, we haven't decided on whether we're going to do a checkbox or a delete button, but right now we just have like a little button in there with an X on it. And when you click the X, a notifier comes up, says, "You alert, you are about to delete this item. Is that what you want to do?" or something of that effect. And then there's yes, no, and cancel. Right. Those are the 3 buttons.
Right. So what I was thinking was a slightly different approach. So you have your list view there. When you click a list item is when you get the option. There's no checkbox.
I see what you're saying.
Right? There's just the list view. When you click a list item, up comes the notifier and you're asked what you want to do with that item. If you say delete it,
I see what you're saying. So if you just touch it, it says if you just touch the list item, which I had it coded so that if you touch the list item, it just automatically deleted it. But you're saying include a notifier before any action is taking place. I gotcha. That's simplicity 101, and I try to make it overly complex. Thank you.
But what you have to do though, I mean, you'd have to then remove that from the list that. Populating the list view. I mean, from the variable as well as from the list view, right?
Maybe I'm not following you.
So maybe you don't have a variable in addition to the list view. So I'm thinking the list view is showing 1, 2, 3, but those values are actually stored in a separate variable inside the program. Global variable 1, 2, 3. A list of 3 things.
Yeah.
That may not apply. If you see how to do it without the global variable, that's fine too.
Josh, did you do map tour?
My dog is freaking out right now, so I can't hear you guys. Hang on.
Anyway. Oh, that's a big room.
My dog was freaking out because his dog was freaking out.
Awesome.
Anyway, if what the question I raised gives you an idea on how to solve it without having a lot of checkboxes, then that's good.
I think I'm going to go from there and see what I can work out. Yeah, as of right now, I have like the code when list view after picking remove list item from the index from the global list of assignments. So I do have a variable. It's called global list of assignments.
Okay.
So I'll just choose that notifier in there and I'll see how it works.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, thank you for that, guys.
I had one, a question that is.
Okay.
I was using I have a checkbox and I was using the set in a button click event. And I was wondering if that in turn fires the checkbox changed. Because I was having some strange results, and that's the only thing I could think possibly might be going on.
So the checkbox has
It's just called checkbox.checked.
Right. And we set it to true or false using another button, like a reset button to clear all the checks in a box.
Oh, so like to initialize the checkbox to some initial state, say.
Yeah.
So what's the question then? You press a button and you want to set the state of a checkbox. It's separate
Yeah.
from the button.
Right. But then does that checkbox changed event get called?
Mm.
Uh,
Like if you're not the, does it have to be the user who's
I'm not sure. So in other words, when you set the value of the checkbox, does that generate another event
automatically?
Exactly.
by the check? I'm not sure. My guess would be no, but I think the event is whether the user clicked on the event, on the checkbox, on the user interface. That would be my guess, but I haven't tested that. Why would you need that? Would you want that? Would you want that event to fire?
Well, you have an event that fires for the checkbox, and then you're, resetting the page, so to speak. And I was getting some really strange results, and the only thing I could think of was that the change events, all the change events for all the checkboxes, were getting fired.
Well, so what are you doing in those changed events? What do you do when that does fire? So you've coded changed events for all of the checkboxes?
Yes.
What do they do?
Well, let's see. They add some money to the kids' accounts, and they play some sounds. But I don't hear the sound, so I don't think they're running. But who knows?
I could do a little experiment while we're talking. I have my phone.
Real quick, Carl, it would be set text box text to nothing, the empty string.
Checkbox.
Carl asked a separate question.
Sorry.
He's using the chat.
Yep. So I see it now.
But go ahead. I mean, I'll just play around while others are asking questions.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
when I get an answer, I'll let you know.
Can I follow Van since it's the same project? So let me see if I can show a little bit of what Van and I are talking about. Is that coming through?
Yep.
So here's a screen that shows the kids' chores, and these are the checkboxes Van was referring to. And he's working to add a button at the bottom that would clear these out so that we could kind of refresh the screen for a new day while still storing the results from the previous day. I don't know if that's helpful.
So what you're wondering is if clicking which button resets them? It's not showing.
This doesn't show Van's new button, but this just gives you some context for what he was asking.
Right.
And I have some follow-up questions on what he asked. So I'm running into some other weird results. In that checkbox screen, I wanted to create some notifiers with a visual that would show the kids their progress.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see in this block here, I'm using Ralph's pseudo screens or simulated screens technique, where I'm turning off certain elements or arrangements and making others visible. That was the only way for me to get a visual image pop-up. The problem I'm having is having that pop-up fully disappear and then resuming or returning to the previous screen. And in particular, the all-important return to home button that we need to use when we're using actual screens doesn't seem to work when I pop this in here. And I'm not sure why that is. I'm probably overthinking it.
I would say for the notifiers, like with having a pop-up, just be careful and strategic and carefully think about which one of those methods or procedures you're using. So the notifier comes with a lot of different choices. There's a show message dialog with a certain, you can have some of them have buttons, you can have some of them not have button responses. So just choose wisely with the ones that you're selecting for the notifier, right? Make sure that the one you select has all of the options that you were looking for, because there are different ones that you can use. So are you saying for the closed screen with the arrangements or the visibility being changed there, that it won't change that if you add closed screen?
When I include this, it does not return me to the home screen.
So
is it possible that it's returning you there, but everything's invisible?
It's a white screen, so is that synonymous with invisible?
I don't know.
Things could be, if there was supposed to be things on there, it could be invisible. Do you have a...
Why don't you just do this experiment? Are those, so everything's on one screen, right? Do you actually have multiple screens?
I do. So this is on my second screen, and in this arrangement here, I'm able to get back to my first screen. These are simulated screens on the second screen.
Do that in initialize.
Huh?
Do that in the screen one initialize.
I don't know.
Do you have a screen one initialize event handler?
On the second screen or the first?
First.
It'll take a second to get back there. It appears that I don't.
So you can do something as soon as the screen opens.
Okay.
Screen one initialize. Now, if there were certain things that you wanted to set back to being visible or invisible, you can do that there.
That's really helpful. Thank you. I'll give that a try.
Okay.
I still don't see what's going wrong though, but I do have an answer for Van's question. I was wrong, and indeed, if you change the value of a checkbox, that fires the checkbox changed event. So if it's checked and you set it unchecked, that will fire the checkbox changed event handler.
Thank you.
Still there?
Yep.
So yeah, if you're doing things in those event handlers that you don't want done, when you reset the checkbox is all false or all true or whatever, they are going to fire. So they have to actually be changed, right? So you have to go from checked to unchecked or unchecked to checked for that event to fire.
Probably explains why it was strange results. Thank you.
I mean, I think we could take more of a look at, so Nick, while we're talking during this time, you could check whether Pauline's suggestion actually fixed your problem or not.
I'm even now questioning what I said, because you were on screen two initially was what you were showing us.
Can you show us your design again? Put yours up there, because you have a lot of screens here. I just want to see if we can get a sense of what's happening among the different screens, how you're going from one to another.
Am I up?
So is that screen one?
Yep, that's screen one.
So could you go to screen screen two, kid one?
Yep.
Screen two. That's screen two, kid one.
Yep.
Oh.
So I have a bunch of.
Those things he's trying to set as visible and invisible with the blurry.
Can you make it bigger? I can't see it anymore.
Sure.
And so to get back to the home screen, you're closing this screen, which is right. Are there any other closed screens around?
Just this one.
Okay, and is it the same in all the other sub-screens?
Yep. In fact, the other sub-screens only have that code, not code only.
Okay. Do they work?
They work great until I tried this other issue.
No, I mean, when you remove those setters that are setting everything invisible, returning to the home screen works.
But my question now is, now that I'm seeing that you are already on screen 2 here, why are you setting those things to invisible if you're going to go back to screen 1 anyway? These things that you're trying to set to invisible that are hanging out there, those floating blocks, those are all things or components that are on screen 2. So if you're closing screen 2, they're not going to be seen anyway. You're going to end up seeing screen 1.
But eventually when I come back to screen 2, I'm going to want these elements gone, correct? Or
When you
invisible?
come back, so then I would say that would be a screen 2 initialize. As soon as screen 2 initializes or opens up, starts, have it set the default that you want it to have every single time. So what is that default screen going to look like?
That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
I want to make sure there's other times for other groups. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
It looks like you are returning in the right way to the host screen. That's good. Other issues?
Well, we had an issue, this is Larry, with essentially the coordinates on the canvas. Where do they start in the bottom left, or do they start in the top left? It kind of
Top left.
Top left, 0, 0, top left.
That was kind of confusing. And then positive numbers are going down.
All positive. The
Yeah.
top left is 0, 0. The bottom right corner would be the canvas height, canvas width. So if it was 300 by 300, you'd have 0, 0, top left,
Okay.
300, 300, bottom right.
Okay. So, okay. And then it seemed like I could get my line outside the box, like, so it wouldn't even show. But anyway, I was just fiddling around with the numbers and I got them both to show. But I couldn't quite understand without that why my numbers were working. So anyway, okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I guess that's not covered anywhere in the tutorials we've had so far. That's a standard
That is? Okay.
computer screen coordinate system.
Okay.
So where is north was in unit 2? Did we take it? Is it gone now? Or is it still there somewhere?
It's gone to the end.
Is it still viewable to them somewhere? Yeah. So where is north is one lesson that we took out. If you were to look at that lesson, I think, are you trying to find it now?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's in there. It's called Where is North? It used to be in Unit 2. That has a good explanation of how the coordinates work on the canvas.
Okay.
So you don't actually have to do the app if you don't want to. You can just look at the text.
Right.
And it will have a picture that shows you how it works.
Okay.
I have a communications question.
All right.
Has anybody been able to get into Zoom on their desktop?
I do every day.
But you initialized it on your desktop, right?
I have it installed.
Oh, see, I'm fine on this laptop, but trying to run on my little Mac Mini, it doesn't seem to work. So I have to go through and install?
If you can install Zoom, that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay, I'll go through that for tomorrow.
Okay.
So
I mean, I thought it did it automatically, but it didn't seem to work.
I can't use the.
Not that I know of.
Thanks.
You're welcome. For the host, I don't believe you can.
So it's a client.
We're done. I'm going to show you how to log in anyway. Any other questions?
So does the relative lack of questions means things are going swimmingly?
This is Tony. I wouldn't exactly say that. I mean, we got the project done. The thing that's killing me right now is getting the stuff uploaded to you guys, because I don't do Google Docs very well, and it's been a very slow learning curve for me. The other thing is I can't seem to get any of the screen capture software work to capture stuff off the tablet. I can get stuff off my Mac, okay. It's just trying to get the tablet to interface with my Mac, and any of those, I just can't get any of those to work.
Tony, I might be able to offer a quick suggestion.
I'm listening. Go right ahead, please.
I was able to download a product for screen capture on our tablets, as well as another product for making movies. Just bear with me a second here.
All the there's a document that's written about all the possibilities they can use, not just the resources page. That document has all the possibilities of what to do for your computer and what to do for your phone.
So I use AZ Screenshot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I must be much too loud. Anthony, did you hear me?
I heard you.
We heard you.
I heard you. I heard you. No problem.
Okay. Yeah, so AZ Screenshot was fine for taking a screenshot, and then I can just email myself the file or send it other different ways. It'll get a nice little file. It goes right into Google Docs. And then for...
So you mean you put that on your tablet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's a video recorder, and I believe it's AZ Video Recorder or something like that. I'll find it right now.
I sent it in the email.
Yep. AZ...
And it's in the create. I think it's in the create part.
Oh, what's the other one called?
There's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Why don't you point out
So-
that?
So all of these are great, Andrew. So just for everybody, again, there was another email I sent out this morning, and then if you go back to the create one, like I said, if you hadn't been there in the last 3 hours to check it out, there is a document that's called How to Create an App Video. Now, I know it says it's for video and it might be misleading, but there's lots of information in there about how to get screencasting on your computer and how to do it on your tablet as well. I also sent in that email how you can just take a simple, quick screenshot on your tablet using volume down and power at the same time, and then you can email that to yourself if you need to. But that how to create a app video, that document that's linked into Create One, there's lots of examples in there for getting some tools that you might be able to use. There's actually another one that was just told to me that I'm going to add in there as well. I can't remember, screencast dot something. I'm going to try to add it in there. We had a couple people in the New Jersey cohort that were using that one. So that how to create an app video document will have screencasting information and how to take screenshots and video with your laptop and your tablet. So there are a number of different options there. But a quick solution for Tony, if he's just looking to take a screenshot, just a picture of what's on your tablet, you can very quickly do volume down and power at the same time. And then send it to yourself.
I've tried that 16 times, and all it does is turn my tablet off.
It can be about the timing. So you have to do same time, volume down and power. And if you do either one by themselves, it's going to do the individual functionality. So it can be sometimes about how you're pressing it. Tony, do you still have the box for the tablet that you have?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you didn't have a different version. I think somebody out there has a different version, but that's it. Volume down, power, same exact time. Synchronize your fingers to press it at the same time.
Does the College Board actually make has some requirements
The video.
for the video?
It's a 1-minute video. So when you look at Create One, it links in the instructions directly from the College Board and what to write for them and what to submit to them. So the 1-minute video, and then they give some file extensions that are acceptable to be uploaded to their site. That's it.
But it could just be one takes a video with their phone of another person doing the app. I mean, there's no specific requirements to use a screencast.
No.
Okay.
And that's in that how to create an app video I believe that's one of the suggestions in there too, is instead of using one of those softwares, you can just use another device to record something.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
So this was a pilot year, so I'll bet lots of students didn't give a whit about the quality of what they submitted, right? Doesn't count for anything. So I saw some pretty poor examples of 1-minute videos submitted with a smartphone using a blurry, or you couldn't actually tell what was going on. So yeah, it has to be at least decent enough so the graders can make out what's happening in the video. But yeah, you can do that with your cell phone.
Carl, I just opened up the chat, and I saw your question about what's the best way to clear text boxes to reset a form. And I have a question. So when you input the text box, when you input information into the text box, do you then hit a button to send that information somewhere, and then you need the text box to reset back to clear? Is that what I'm getting at?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're using it for.
Okay, so what button do you put? Do you push another button like that's next to the text box?
Yes.
Right. Okay, so in that particular button, like when button click, whatever that button's called, you need to put a. Give me 1 sec here, and I'll tell you exactly what it's called. You need to put a set text box dot text to, and then have the text blank.
Okay.
And it'll reset it after. So like as soon as you click the button that submits that data wherever it's going to go, you could put another command under there to set that text box dot text to, and then just have a blank text block next to it that attaches into it.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, no sweat. Carl, I just sent you a private message just asking for your email, and I'll send you that to you. I didn't know if you wanted to share your email with everybody.
Great.
Pauline, please take note of that and assign extra credit to Josh Farside.
I got you.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure everybody got that.
Any other questions? I have one for Ralph.
Oh boy.
What time is their project due?
Tomorrow, 3 p.m.?
Like, that's not possible.
No, why?
Because they have to grade each other's projects.
To grade each other's projects.
Peer grading. It's a thing I sent you.
Oh, I didn't see it yet.
The only thing you replied was you need to show me how to do the hangout.
Wow. So remind me, when are they going to? They're going to look at each other's projects.
They have 2 projects to grade before tomorrow afternoon.
So noon.
You're leaving 3 hours for everybody to grade 2 projects.
Yeah. That's plenty of time.
If they're not doing other stuff, they don't have stuff planned. They're at home. They're not here.
Yeah. Pauline is asking me when I think projects should be due so that peer grading can commence. I suggest noon tomorrow. So you'll have your write-up posted by noon tomorrow, and that gives you between noon and 3 p.m. to submit your grade, your assessments. Does that seem reasonable to everybody?
How about 10 a.m.?
About 5 a.m.?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday, yeah.
Guys, I see the questions about grading. Just hold on a second. I promise all the information is coming to you. We're trying to figure out a deadline before we can talk about grading.
It's up to you guys. 10 a.m.? Because you have stuff to do between 10 and 3. Other stuff.
That's fine. So if someone's not free until 12, that's fine, right? That means you get to do your grading. But I guess the question is there anybody who can't do the grading between 12 and 3? Is there anybody who would need to do it before 12? Grading. Is there anybody who would need to do the grading before 12 o'clock tomorrow?
Well, I'd prefer to. This is Larry. Maybe we could have an early group and a later group.
That makes it too complicated. Then you have to make sure the ones you've been assigned are in the early group.
I mean, they don't have to be perfect, right? It's just more about us figuring out how to grade them. And right?
Well, I mean, if the ones you are assigned are there at 10 a.m., I mean, I assume lots of people are going to be done before before noon.
Okay.
Go in and grade yours. Would you absolutely be unable to do it if it didn't get in there until noon?
I just had some plans, but I can work around them, I guess.
So when we go to do the grading, are we expected to go through the other program and read all the code that they wrote?
No.
Why don't you put up the form?
I think it's time because.
Well, I just, because again, with that 3-hour window, that's a short period of time to do that. So if you don't need to do that.
Nope, that's not what you need to do. It takes about maybe, if you're being really thorough, it will take you about 15 minutes. Maybe 20 for each project.
That's really thorough.
That's really thorough, yeah, really thorough. So you had a document that was called Create One Pairs. I'm going to share my screen in a second. I'm going to link this in. So I'm going to link it into the spreadsheet now, to the pacing guide. And I'm going to share my screen. You didn't look things up to see if everybody, I learned someone to check that everybody had 2 things to do and nobody got their own. All right, guys. So I may need your help. So this is the Create One document that I'm sharing, the pairs, and I updated it. So the way you grade a project, okay, before you go looking for your name, the way that you grade a project is by reading the portfolio write-up. So inside the portfolio write-up, if you're looking at the instructions, you'll see that you're going to need to have some screenshots. You'll have your video included. We tell you for Mobile CSP to upload the AIA, but that's not a requirement to go and look at the actual source code. You're grading based on the write-up, okay? The rubric that you'll need to use is the new pilot draft rubric that's linked there at the top. That's also already linked into Create One, so hopefully you had seen that, right? When you were looking at the requirements. That's the rubric you're going to use, okay? Give me 1 second. I have another question for Ralph. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do that's not added there yet, I'll have it added by tomorrow morning, is have a form. So I'm going to link in a form here. So it would be submit your scores here, and I'll link it in. It will be a form. So you can print out and mark the rubric however you would like, but in the end you'll be asked to submit your scores that you put on that rubric electronically into a Google form. So I'll put that up, and that you'll be required to have 2 submissions, okay? So in the chart, in the kind of like green highlighted columns are the peer graders. So you should see your name listed for 2 different projects, and you should not be assigned to your own project. If either of those things happened, let me know so I can fix it. So again, you should see your name listed for 2 different projects or 2 different individuals' write-ups, and then you should not be listed for your own. So here's an example. For Larry's write-up, Patty and Josh were assigned to grade it. So Patty and Josh would scroll down to the bottom of the document below the table where there's a link to everyone's portfolios. They would find Larry's portfolio, which, why does it look like it's missing? Oh, it's down below for some reason. 1 second. 1 second.
Oh, you need permission.
Yes, some of them are probably blocked, so we'll have to figure this. What is going on here? Why can't I get his to come up onto the page?
It's just overflow. You added a new one.
No, he's down there. I just want the whole thing to come up.
Maybe mine will just get a 0.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorry, struggling here. So if you can't access their page, let me know. It probably means that you didn't get access, but you can request access. So if you get an email saying that that person requested access, you can accept it, or you can let me know. I have access to everyone's site, so I could easily go on and grab their write-up and send it to you and whatnot. Some of you, though, I have seen you've submitted documents via email to me, so I can also, for simplicity's sake, also link that in there next to your portfolio page, right? So I think Matt may have sent me his and Liz's write-up. I could put a link here that links that, okay? So
How do we,
yeah?
how do we do the peer grading? Are we on the phone together? We read it, or what do we?
No, peer grading means you as an individual are grading one of your classmates' work.
Oh,
So
we're doing it on our own.
Yeah, you're doing it
on your own.
Okay, it's just 2 of us grading.
Yep.
Okay,
Just you grading someone else's.
okay. So at the end, we end up with 4 grades?
2.
2.
You get 2, well, 4 per project. Is that what you're thinking? You get 2 and
Yeah.
then Carl would get 2.
Oh, I see.
But you should have separate write-ups.
Yep.
So it's 2 per person. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so I can look at the chat. It's going crazy over here. How do you know when people are done? Well, I could say we could implement a system where I mark it as long as you tell me that you're done. I mean, if you've sent me the link to your portfolio, if you've sent me the link to your work, then I know you're done and I can mark that in there. That's something I could do. What's the deadline tomorrow?
You just have to check their page. Everyone should have their materials posted by noon, though.
By noon, so not grading anybody until, that's what I meant, like not starting the grading until after that deadline.
Is there a way that we can all write on their documents
Can't hear you.
that we're done? And
Try again?
Maybe.
that we can write on a shared document that we're done after our name and our portfolio link. So some people might actually be done tonight.
Can they edit that document you're showing us?
You just add it to their portfolio, to their write-up. Just say, I'm done at the top.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
So that way, I mean, because I know that I'm hoping to be done tonight. So if somebody wants to grade mine tonight.
Do they have access to the document you're showing us?
Yeah, they put them in there. They all have edit access. So they put that.
Yeah. So another way to do it, the document that Pauline is sharing with you, down below where your portfolio links are, you can put right next to your name, done, when you're done.
Yeah, so you all have edit access.
That's
So-
what I was suggesting.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So who's done already? Somebody want to tell me? I'll do them as an example.
I think I'm done if I understood the requirements.
So it's Matt, so I could say done.
All right, Pauline, we're done except for the video. We haven't uploaded the video yet. I mean, I've put in the link to the app and all that other stuff, but I just don't have we haven't done a video yet.
So don't put done until you have the video up. So remember, one of the main reason for this exercise is so you'll be familiar with the rubric. So you'll see both. You'll see the whole process from the student's point of view and also from the grader's point of view. And when we're done, we'll talk about this rubric and how it went.
So, Pauline, I'm looking at your screen right now, and at the bottom there it says Josh Farside, and then it says Kristen Nick, right? So Kristen and Nick will be the people that are grading mine, correct? Is that I just want to make sure I'm understanding it correctly.
Yes. Up at the top are the headers that tell you partner 2. So you're partner 2 there. Your write-up is graded by here.
Okay, and can you scroll back down really quickly down to the highlights there, or to the portfolio links, and can you click on mine really quickly?
I have access, right?
Yeah. So do I need to give access to everyone else?
Yeah, I can't get into yours.
So whoever is grading yours, what they can do is they can go to your page and hit request access.
Yeah. Okay. So
you'd only get 2 requests, not everybody.
Correct. So like, can you click on my create project really quickly? All at the top under home.
Josh, taking away your extra credit.
Oh yeah, I got it taken away. Okay, that's okay. So like, does that look comprehensive? I just want to make sure that that looks like it's okay. And at the bottom, there's our elevator pitch attached as a Word document, and there's our video. But I'm gonna re-upload the one when we make the fixes. Is that like?
So does your Word document answer the prompts?
Like, what is the app? What kind of app is it? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
No, the prompts from the College Board. No.
Maybe not. I'll have to take a look at it. It's okay. It's no big deal.
So Josh, if you look here, the original Create One page that was there for you, there's that document for immediate access that's on how to do the write-up. When you click on how to do a portfolio write-up, this is linked into the Create One on the website as well for Mobile CSP. It tells you everything that should be included, okay? And then at the bottom, there's a design. So you have to include collaborative program code, screenshots with explanations, individual responses. And then your collaborative video as well. So what do those things mean? If you scroll down to the second page and the third page, there's an explanation of what those things mean. And then an individual report, which is what you should be doing, has the link to the College Board's requirement, which has prompts that you should have been answering. So this is essentially what you're doing for your project, and you need to add these prompts to your page.
Hey, Pauline, can you go back a page?
Seems duplicative.
I would look at the examples. A lot easier.
Well, the examples
don't match up right now. We haven't changed them to be the correct samples. They were to give you an idea of how a write-up is done. They don't necessarily match the College Board's new requirements. So we have some samples that we're going to end up talking about with you that just came from the pilot reading. We have those samples that will get shared after you practice the peer grading.
Hey, Pauline, and this is where I think some of those emails and the confusion came in yesterday or last night. So the screen you're looking at right now, so can you scroll up a little bit on that? So there are essentially 4 headings. There's introduction, scroll down more. So there's introduction, keep going down. Keep going. So there's introduction, so that's 1. Final app, which is, the files, and then design, and then answering the AP apps. Those are the 4 sections you want.
Yeah, so here, the first page, The first page is just designed as a checklist. Like you could print it off and say, I have this, this, and this. But it's not necessarily explaining how to do those things. So pages 2 and 3 are explaining how to do or giving you reference to how to complete those things. So the 3 sections that you're talking about, they're listed here in this overview checklist. And then so the individual response and the collaborative work, these are, I'm going to just edit this. Responses, answer, prompts, from College Board. So what does that, what does these individual responses consist of, right? What does it mean? What do you have to do in order to put individual responses? When you go down to the 2nd and 3rd page, you get the explanations, and that's where it says, okay, that individual report that it was referring to, it's talking about answering these prompts that are linked here.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that
I mean,
page 1 is just the checklist.
I followed this outline. So those 4 sections, and then the 4th section includes part of the AP stuff.
It's 3 sections. The design section where you describe how you designed your app includes the College Board prompts under the individual report.
So are there other questions about the plan for tomorrow? When Pauline isn't going to be here, you're going to be stuck with me.
I have a quick question.
Uh-huh.
I noticed just now that the video for the design is collaborative. What has, my part of just is not going to be available, and we have just finished the program.
Okay.
So we will not be in the same place at the same time to do a collaborative video.
That's okay.
In the class, yeah, somebody's really loud right now. In the classroom, you're going to be just with the students, they'd all be together. This is only a challenge right now with this one because you guys are working online. Let me start screen here. So when you do your 2nd project, you will be in person. I'm going to mute everybody for a second.
Also, you know, I don't believe, based on what I saw in Kansas City in grading, that the video necessarily has to be collaborative. I think it can be collaborative when they turn it in. Okay, so it's confusing because they started out a few years ago with the idea that this whole create task was going to be completely collaborative, and you have to sort of work closely with a partner, and then over time they saw problems with that model and they backed off further and further on the collaborative part. So I believe now it's, you have to demonstrate that you personally did some stuff, and you could have collaboration in there. And the collaboration could be as minor as, I asked my friend if they liked the color of my buttons, and they said yes. So it's pretty minimal collaboration. So fine if you're doing the video by yourself.
Ralph,
Yep.
another question on that is our project is developed into, shall we say, 2 different branches, and the putting it back together again is going to be a little bit difficult. Is that worth the time and effort, or would it be all right if we submitted 2 different ones?
Yeah, I mean, if it's really going to be difficult for you to merge, you mean merging 2 AIA files? That could be difficult, yeah. I would say, yeah, just spend your time making sure your version of it works. And then if you have time, try to merge them, but it would be okay if you each had something different.
Thank you.
This is just for you guys to practice. Students don't have to do peer grading. That was for Sterling, sorry. you're using the rubric, so again, check that Create One document. The rubric is linked there. You'll use the rubric from the College Board. We don't want to have you do the grading during the conference. We want you to talk about how the grading went during the online meeting tomorrow. If you get 2 people that request access, those would be your peer graders. Just give them access to your portfolio. For Dan, there's a collaborative part of the code. That part is collaborative. The individual report with the prompts from the College Board ask you to highlight just 2 pieces of that code. So the larger collaborative code is taking your code and having explanations of how things work, but the individual part, you individually answer the College Board's prompts, and they ask you to highlight 2 things, abstraction and an algorithm. So there's 2 different parts. Just read through them carefully. One's collaborative, one's individual. Read through that document carefully.
So the only place in the rubric, you're talking about the rubric, where it mentions individual is in the row 2. The response to how you address 2 difficulties or 2 opportunities in your project. Part of that has to identify at least 1 point in the development process that was completed independently. So by the individual rather than by the pair of partners. That's the only place. Everything else could be, that you submit to the College Board could have been done collaboratively. And I can imagine that's going to mean in some cases, one student does all the coding, another does a lot of design, and things like that will happen. So, that's how it is. So it'll be interesting to hear the discussion tomorrow after you've been through the grading, after having built the projects. Have we muted them?
It's over. Let's.
So any other questions? Just about 4 o'clock.
Nope, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
So we'll
Thank
see
you.
Here, same time, same place tomorrow at 3-ish.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you all.
All righty. See ya.
Send us email if you have additional questions.
Thank you.